Hey guys, it's Dave March, the Spy Guy, and I just got back from seeing a movie called Let Him Go, starring Kevin Costner and Lane. I believe. Hold on, sorry, let me just pull it up here. Make sure I get the names right. So it's Diane Lane. Yes, perfect. So people keep talking about what's going on today. If people are watching this 10 years from now, we're in the midst of the coronavirus craziness, and you can all be like, ha ha ha, what did you say? That's nothing compared to whatever, blah, 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 we're dealing with now. So, th- a lot of people have been talking about the movie theaters being killed off and dying off. And I gotta say, I went to the theater. There was maybe 10 people there. It's very quiet. This movie is definitely Oscar bait material, and that's something that happens around this time when the big theater, when you get these little movies that will get a limited release in order to be qualified for the Oscars. And back in the day, if this were last year, I'd probably have to go to Toronto or maybe Mississauga to see this movie. But right now, because there's nothing else to watch, they're releasing these movies and much more to more screens because those screens are just desperate for content. So this movie is, think, I'm sorry. So going in the theater, sitting down, having this experience, actually buying a pack of Twizzlers for the first time in like 10 years, just so I can eat them with my mask off. And I mean, in Ontario, basically what's happening, as long as you're social distancing, even indoors, you don't have to wear the mask except to move around. So when you go into the theater and you come out of the theater, you can have to wear your mask, but when you're sitting there, you don't have to have your mask on. But I did put it on because I have allergies and I started to cough a little, and I was taking it on and off, and I was like, you know what, leave it on, and didn't have to worry about it anymore after I ate. But going to a movie theater, I used to do this when I was younger. I'd be going to see a movie every Monday because I was working like a Tuesday to Saturday or a Sunday to Thursday shift, and I would just be going in once a week to see a movie, hell or high water. And I saw some really bad movies from following this policy. I remember watching, God, what was it? You know what? It was so bad. I'm probably better off not blinking and remembering it. But I'd seen a few of the commercials on TV and thought, oh, that's like low budget sci-fi. And then suddenly it was like the movie starts, the voiceover narration's coming down. I could barely read on any words on the film, and I'm like, oh crap! I made a terrible, terrible mistake. Then sorry, don't want to look away, but there's a movie I also saw by doing this policy, a small limited release movie to the Canadian budget. You've never even heard of this movie. It's I'm going to pull it up right now. It's called The Art of the Steal. And like, it doesn't matter. The Art of Steel. It's got Kurt Russell in it. It's got this Terrence Stamp. It's got this complicated thieving world, kind of like rock and roll kind of stuff, but a bit more like laid back. But it's got having to cross the border and trying to con people and just layers and layers of things. And no one but me and a few handful of my friends have seen this movie. It's so good because I love caper movies. Anyways, this movie here is going to the theater and you're getting the experience. You know what? You realize when you're watching a movie at home, sitting there on your couch, you got your freaking friends messaging you on Discord, you got or Messenger, you got your computer on, you're playing a video game, you're reading a book, you got things going on, you're doing everything you but watching the movie while the movie's playing on. And every so often you've got to go up, pause it, and rewind it just to figure out what you missed and then get back into it. You have all this distractions. And when you go into the movie theater, though, you sit down in your theater seat, you turn off your phone or you put it to mute like I do because it's my watch, so I want to know what's uh, going on that way. And you sit there in the theater and you're watching the movie and you're compelled to watch it and see it. And in this movie, you have that whole situation where it pays off to sit there in the theater and watch the movie because and you don't want to sit in this one, especially since there's like virtually no soundtrack. There's just sounds of silence of people like opening doors or frying eggs or doing different things, so kind of draw you in. And it so starts out so silent at the beginning, where it's like Kevin Costner is going out to feed the horses, and you just don't want. I had my licorice in hand, and I was like, do I dare it? Do I rip it out of the package or not? And I was like, oh, screw it. Get it over with, because I didn't want to disturb the ambiance. And this movie just has that thing. So, like, yeah, so the movie theater itself is an experience. You go to it, you feel it, you love it, because it's it's this whole thing. It's you in the movie for 2 hours. And the director is communicating and the cinematographer and all the actors are communicating all this stuff, and you're soaking it in, and you don't have to put up with anything else. You can forget about elections or virus or whatever's going on, your family life, everything else that's going on in your life. It's just you and the movie. And that's why the theaters will never die, because you still want to do this. I mean, I remember, because I'm a big Stratford supporter. I go to the plays every year. I really love to see Shakespeare in person. And then I tried watching it at home, because everything was shut down and you couldn't go, and they were doing live streams of past performances, and I just couldn't pay attention to what was going on the screen. So I gave up after 3 plays. Even though I wanted to see these plays, I wasn't willing. When you're at home, you're not willing to put the commitment in to really watch the movie. And this is a movie you should really want to watch. So the story in the movie, I'm not going to get too much into spoiler territory, but Kevin Costner and Diane Lane are a couple, and there is a tragedy early on. Okay, their son dies. I know it's a bit of a spoiler, but their son dies. He has a grandchild, and he has the mother, like their daughter-in-law. And then 3 years later, she marries this guy. And it turns out this guy comes from a bad family, like an abusive home. And he takes off after, runs out on debts, and flees back to his family, not even notifying them. And yeah, it is a bit of a spoiler, but this kind of stuff is kind of like, it's the first act of the movie. Can't like not tell you. So they go to get their grandson back. And along the way, you just get these, like, it's a movie set in the 50s. People are just different back then. Strong, silent types. The men and the women, especially it's in Montana, and these shots in North Dakota, and you're seeing all these mountains and the buttes, as I believe they're called, and just this wide open space, and the fact that they're driving on this road and there's no one else on the road for miles around, and you're just getting, it's this travel movie, and then there are some scene violence that happen, but this is a slow burner movie that really gets you drawn in to things, and you get these like little complicated things out. You find out stuff that's going on along the way, and you're just reminded of it. The movie's trying to evoke a specific place and time, and it does it well. Kevin Costner in one moment goes in to buy a bottle of whiskey from the Schlitz, and it's like, oh my god, I haven't even thought of a Schlitz outside of watching old movies. But or hearing my parents talking about, oh, we went down to the Schlitz and got the booze and out of the brown paper bag, and just this kind of situation that people are in once we're in. And they get into some other darker stuff that happens, and explaining that, because I don't want to expose too much of it, but just like they make mistakes, and there are consequences from those mistakes, and people have been better. Tragedies don't occur, but again, we're here to watch the tragedy unfold, and this is what they call a neo-western, which is, so it has some of that history of violence, neo-noir kind of feeling, a little bit of Unforgiven kind of thing in this movie. Kevin Costner, he does a great job of invoking this stuff. This is the kind of roles he was born to play. I feel Kevin Costner early on in his career, he was playing movies, but that just didn't feel natural to him in the same way. Like going back and we watch maybe No Way Out or some of the other movies he did when he was younger, and he just feels like he's not there yet. But as he aged out into his later years, he's got this sort of the gravitas that we used to see in some of the older actors out there, like the oh god, not Kurt Russell, Kurt. Uh, I hate when I do a brain fart by then. Maybe this will be my style. Uh, like the Burt Lancasters of the world, and Kurt. Sorry, I'm taking off. I think it doesn't matter. Just the Burt Lancasters, Kirk Douglas. That's it, not Kurt. Kirk Douglas and Michael Douglas has that some of his father in them. So that's just it. I feel like Kevin Costner has been aged into a much better series of pictures. He plays the grizzled war veteran old man very well, or the disappointed, or the dad from Superman. That's his kind of thing. Diane Lane, she does a really good job of this woman who is experiencing a giant loss, and that's this movie's kind of big thing. It's about loss and acceptance and screwing up along the way, and just trying to come to terms to deal with these kind of things where tragedies that should never happen to anyone happen to them. And you're just at the prime of your life, just about to start to take on the world, and things happen. And disappointments and failure and like all these great stuff that makes a great movie. So I'm going to give this movie, I'm giving this movie a 90 out of 100 for a 4.5 in most people's scales. Some way it's just, these are the movies that we want to go to the movie theaters and experience the movie theater experience for, to like be shut down in a room, completely black, just you and the production company sending them they're giving you the message. So I really appreciate this movie. If you have the ability to still go out and see the movies, go see this movie. Anyways, if you like this, like, share, subscribe. I'm doing some things. I'm hoping to get like one of the I've approached an affiliate marketing company. I'm trying to get on one of their things. Hopefully one day I'll be like, buy my if you like this, buy the book, buy the movie below. So that's something I'm working on. And yeah, like I said, like, share, and subscribe. And right now I've been the Spy Guy, and I hope you enjoyed watching me rant about movies and this movie. Bye.